again join us on IRC. We've given out the address anyway, so I'm not going to repeat it anymore right now. But still, we do want some feedback on this. So unfortunately, we cannot have feedback on each talk separately on the web page. For that, we would need a lot more organization. So I think we're almost there.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes. Well, as I already said, I want to show you if you can trust in very cool or fingerprint-based attendance systems. So, very cool is a system that's used at IVC. It's an international school in England where about half the students are foreign, so that's why it's international, and maybe that's why fingerprinting is used. The very cool is part of Anteon UK, which is again part of General Dynamics somehow. The system was introduced about 3 years ago, only by the warden, so no one else was asked except the warden. No teachers, no parents. And that's also how the enrollment works, because on the first day, when all the foreign students who can't speak English very well are asked to register themselves, but no one really says anything against it, because in the moment you don't think about it, and the parents aren't asked either. When I was registered, I got a letter afterwards, which told me that I don't have to. But now the last year, people didn't even get this letter. The letter said it's all standalone, it's secure, and the fingerprint data is not usable afterwards. But of course, it's usable to recognize the fingerprint, otherwise the system would not work. And here you can see the website where they say the fingerprint signature is made of 120 data points. Well, we'll see that later. And it doesn't say anything about encryption of the 120 data points, so I just guess it's not encrypted, otherwise they should say it. Again, the one that I already told you. So how did we get into the system? A friend of mine found on a school laptop this login.vbs, should better open it with the editor, where you can they can edit some lines and tell the computer you're a teacher and log into the system as a teacher. Then we got all the data on the server, from the server on our hard drive, where I can see student data. And 1 minute? Oh, okay. Well, here's the student data. Then, there's some encrypted XML files, which we can encrypt with a little C# application we built ourselves based on the decompilation with the reflector. There's a function called decode XML, and here you get the password, that dragon. Don't remember it. Well, until you see the personal data. And maybe we can find out whose birthday it is today.
As a matter of fact, we are officially over time, but I think, is anyone interested in seeing this anymore? Yeah, sure.
Okay, so happy birthday, Bryony. Well, that is, you can guess how it's created. C# program and just decrypt all the XML files. Well, so that's the photograph of every student, the XML file, and 2 binary files, which are fingerprints. There we got a little C# program as well, programmed. And here we are with the fingerprint features, I guess, because they didn't say anything about encryption. Well, then I want to show you some funny registration pictures of some people. Well, here someone was more clever than me, and that's our system administrator. Okay, and I want to finish off by showing you how you can find out more about the system and fingerprinting. There's one very good website, leavethemkidsalone.com. And, well, in the media I also wrote an article about it. I want to conclude by saying, well, you can't trust, very cool. And I also want to say that the authorities always very often deny the insecurity of the software. Even if you point out to them how it really is, they're not going to do anything about it, just deny that it's true. Then there's a huge amount of personal data stored in the system. We found about 2,000 sets of student data. And I think it's also there to prepare the future generation, the students, for biometrics, and make them not say anything against it. Well, then I want to cite something by George Orwell. O'Brien said, it's necessary for us to know everything. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for pointing out that very cool project is not so very cool after all, but thank you for a very cool talk. Thank you. So next, I think you can introduce yourself. What about?
Okay, I'm Reinier Bakels. I work part-time at Maastricht University. Can everybody hear me? And so that leaves me some time to talk to politicians occasionally. And one of the things I talked about is the enforcement of intellectual property rights. It is one topic like Oliver Mollenhauer also touched upon. Currently, the European Commission is working on a directive for enforcing the criminal enforcement of intellectual property rights. Well, some of you who are familiar with law know that there are international treaties. In most countries, it is already a crime for copyright infringement, patent infringement, and so on. So this appears to be largely redundant. But then I talked to one particular politician. I won't mention his name, but he is German. And they said, well, what's really the issue? And then it turned out that, well, it turned to be something very, very emotional. That is, well, there has been a debate whether the substance of this directive is currently still being debated, and one of the questions is whether it should just be real piracy, one-to-one copying in the industrial fashion, or whether it should be more encompassing. And actually, this politician told me, no, it should include everything, including private downloading. Well, as you know, it has always been outside of copyright. Private copies have been free. But he says, no, we have to educate. Apparently, he talked to it sounds all very similar to the story we heard yesterday from Lawrence Lessig. Apparently these politicians are being lobbied by the gramophone record companies, and they learned these politicians, that it's actually it's a kind of theft. And if we don't educate the kids that downloading a MP3 file is the very same thing as stealing. And so if they get the idea that stealing MP3s is allowed, they will steal a bicycle tomorrow, and they will steal something in a shop the day afterwards. And I thought, well, I said this to this politician, well, you are educated as a lawyer, same as I am, and you are probably aware that intellectual property, well, we recognize since, I think, 150 years that intellectual property is not the same as real property, because you can copy things and still maintain them themselves. No, said this man, that's not the problem. We have to educate, we have to boost the morale, we have to learn the people that we have to be very, very tough on this. And then someone, it was another debate with a politician with the same type of opinion, said, how are you prepared to enforce this thing in the private homes? It's one of the reasons it has been always outside of copyright law, is that you can't put a policeman in every house. And then he says, well, even if we don't enforce it, it should be a crime. We should do everything possible. And well, he got really emotional. So I suggest, well, this little story gives us some messages. I think the whole debate is beyond reason. It's becoming very much an emotional debate. One of the ideas of the enforcement directive is also to increase the influence of the European Union on criminal law. They want to be tough on crime. That's a big fashion, and they're using now intellectual property law for, well, which is something that, well, not in this audience, but normally politicians are not very interested in copyright law and patent law, and even less in trademark law. So they use this kind of hidden thing to increase their grip on criminal law, and they are helped by the bodies like the IFPI and the RA in the United States. And I think, well, you know, because Brussels is operating slightly outside of the limelight, there's not much feedback. It's, well, if something happens in the Bundestag or the Bundesrat, then it's on the television the same evening. But if something happens in Brussels, nobody knows. So they are an ideal target for lobbyists. And that means that, well, there should be a counter lobby, and FFI is doing a strong counter lobby. I think it's a major innovation. You know, FFI is a kind of open network of people of all kinds, and they are doing the counter lobby, and that's badly necessary, because otherwise I think these politicians, they are prepared. They're the old-fashioned people. Lessig said yesterday the judge who decided in the US was 70 years old. They're the kind of people who never touched the internet, and I think they're prepared to close down the internet, at least P2P, because they believe it's a Sodom of Gomorrah of copyright infringement, and they don't grab any idea of the new world of information sharing. And I think we should be very tough on this. Thank you.
So I'd like to apologize. I think I skipped Alex. If you're ready, please come on up.
Oh, I signed as the last one.
So lots of time here.
So I also don't mind being the last one, signed as the last one.
Can I just stop you for a second? So this is going to be the last talk. So take all the time you want. Unless you guys here have an issue to bring before us, or even just to bring before the camera, even if everybody leaves, right? So as long as we have the room, as long as there's the camera with us and people watching, and hopefully giving us feedback on IRC, then we might as well continue. So think about what you have to say, and then please come up here after Alex has finished, if he does finish. So, but he hasn't started.